Partiers! Welcome to Liza's Painting Parties. I'm Liza and we are here for our weekly live painting session. Thank you so much for joining me. I am still a little sick, so if my voice sounds a little bit weird, I apologize for that. I might take it a little slower depending. But I wanted to get out and paint and try to feel a little better about doing so. Over the last week or so, I've been hit with like a sinus head cold, which really sucks. But yeah, but hopefully it'll be going away soon. So this will be a nice needed artistic break from dealing with blowing my nose every few seconds. And hopefully I won't have to do that while we're live today. So thank you all for joining. This is our free weekly paint party. So if you're joining, the first time you're joining, this basically is the painting that everyone voted on, and this was the top rated painting for last week, so it was the one that had the top votes. I called it Dark Niagara Falls. The photographer didn't have a name associated with it when we did it, so I just labeled it as such, so hopefully that worked out all right. We did another Niagara Falls painting a couple weeks back, which was really pretty. It was really colorful and kind of abstract-esque, I suppose. And so utilizing that, I'm really excited to do this since it'll be fun to play with the colors. It's a dark background, and I think it'll be fun to add a couple of components to it to really make everything pop. So I would suggest you having fun with it as well. And again, no experience is necessary to join. I'll walk through my process. For anyone who hasn't joined before, so this is the first time that I'll be painting this as well. And the way I work is I walk you through how I would approach it, and hopefully that helps you paint as well. You can leave some comments as well, and I'll keep an eye out and I'll answer them as we go. If you want to let me know where you're tuning in from, of course, it's always nice to see. I'm here in Ontario. I'm in Ajax, Ontario in Canada, so it's almost 6 o'clock, about 5 minutes before we'll get started. It's a really nice day today. It was pretty cold yesterday, or it was a Monday actually. Yesterday wasn't too bad either, but today was actually pretty nice again. So weird weather we're getting. Probably why my cold came on too. Anyways, so this painting, we will be using the following supplies as per usual. We have a canvas board. I'm using an 11 by 14 canvas board. I have acrylic paint. Oh, I should have grabbed more white actually. We won't need too much this time. But if you have red and blue and yellow, black and white, we can paint anything. This one's going to use a lot of black. I think maybe some blue, or maybe we can add some like purple. Some dark purples will look nice in that too, so I'm going to play around with that a little bit. If you have other ones that are pre-mixed, that's totally fine. All the paint I use is from the Dollarama. It's Deco Art Crafters Acrylic. It's not any particular reason why I picked that besides it being available at the dollar store, and that's what I've been using. In terms of paintbrushes, I suggest having a variety of paint sizes, but if you have at least 3, that would be fantastic. So if you have one nice big one, this is a size 10, and it's a large flat size 10 brush. On 11 by 14, this works quite nicely. And then I have like a medium size. This is a size 2. And then I have a fine point, and I like to use this one. This is a number 4, but the point on it's a lot finer than my other ones that I have that are fine point. I have some other brushes sometimes I'll jump to as well, but if you have at least 3 sizes, that will at least give you some flexibility in how you're going to be approaching it as you go. Perfect. Hi, Gina. Oh, fantastic. From Central Ohio. That's awesome. I'm so glad you're joining. So yeah, so we'll be, oh, and the other supplies, sorry. So I have the paintbrushes, and I have some containers of water, and a palette so you can pop your paints on. I tend to mix a lot of my paint right on the canvas itself. I don't really use it to pre-mix colors. That's just how I do it. And then I just have some paper towel as well. As it is water-based paint, I use a paper towel quite a bit to like clean off my brushes and go from there. So when we start this painting, I'm going to start with putting a nice coating of black, at least along the back. So I'm going to start off with the sky. Now, this image is hard to see, I would suggest grabbing a screenshot from yesterday's winning post so you can actually see and actually have it more closely available to you. I will have the iPad available on the side while I'm painting, but it's kind of hard sometimes in that capacity. So if you have a reference closer to you, that would be more convenient. So what I'm noticing with this guy, it's very black, very dark, but there is still a little bit of light happening on the horizon, and you can't really tell so much on this capture of it. But there is a bit of like almost like a really dark red, or maybe even we could even go with like, I think I'm gonna go with like a dark red, or almost like a bit of a glow where like the skyline is. So I want to make it slightly lighter just along that component. And then we're gonna go in and put in all of the little lights in the town. And again, we can do that. Sorry, my phone just fell. We could do that in a nice process there. So most of it will be pretty much black, and then we'll be able to get those lights in. And then we're going to be playing on with all these colors. So I'll walk through how that will go. Awesome. So right now it is almost 6. If you have a drink as well, I have some water since this sometimes goes a little bit longer. I'm expecting, I don't think this will take a full 2 hours, but we'll see. Depends how much we get into it. Hi, Carrie. Hi, Diane. Fantastic. I'm so glad you're all joining. That's great. And yeah, and if you are interested, I'm doing a paint party this Saturday as well at 11. That one is a paid one, and that will be over Zoom. So the benefits of that obviously is that we'll be able to actually see each other. So if you wanted to join that and actually show me your painting and we could talk about things and go through things step by step, we can do that. The information and the event is on the Facebook page as well. So you can take a look and see if that's something that you might be interested in, or if you enjoy that image that we'll be doing. And we'll be starting shortly. And I think that is all for now. Oh, yes, and also, sorry, the photograph is taken by Mike Lyons. So he's our photographer who's been, I've been using pretty much his photos for the last 3 months, now going into 4 months. And I've really loved his eye for capturing beautiful images. So definitely check out his website if you enjoy it and you want to see some other inspirational items that you may want to paint or purchase from him. Feel free to do so. All right, so I'm going to just set this up a little bit differently. I'm like very congested, so my talking might stall a little bit. Okay. Get my hair up, and then I'll move the camera, and then we will get started. Okay, so Niagara Falls is beautiful. My family and I took a trip out there in 2019. I'm so glad we did, just before everything with COVID happened, right? So pretty. Not sure if all of you guys have been there, but it's breathtaking how beautiful it is. And us Canadians are pretty proud because our Canadian side is very massive. But the American side is really pretty as well, though. Goes over all the rocks and whatnot. Okay, so let's start off. Let's grab some black. And let's pop that onto our palette. I'm not going to be shy about the black because we're going to be using quite a bit of that today. I'm putting quite a bit on there. I'm going to get my nice big old brush. And sometimes I wet the canvas down before I start painting just to allow for more quick coverage over the background. However, with my black paint that I have from the lovely Dollarama, it's quite thin as it is, and I'm probably going to need a second coat just as it is. So I'm not going to thin it out, I'm just going to use it directly from there. So I'm going to take a look, and this top part is about, so that's like, oh, like just a bit more than a quarter of it. It's maybe like a third would be like that. So I'd be like, it's kind of a quarter, I guess. Top part, more or less. It's about a quarter of it. So let's start with just putting in the black. And just make sure you do the tops and the sides as you go. Now with this, we are going to need it to dry before we try to put in some of those like lights and all that other things that are going on. We could ultimately paint the entire canvas black, and I might end up doing that. I'm going to go step by step for now. I'll start with this background, and then if I decide that I need to move on while it dries, I might paint the rest of it, or the majority of it. At the same time, sometimes it's hard for some of the other colors to really pop when you have a black background. So I might not want to do that while we have all that color happening. It's quite good coverage for the one coat. I'm pretty happy with that. Okay. So nice, beautiful black coat. And you know what? I am going to continue on a little bit. So I'm going to go down a little bit further than where I want my horizon to be. Because as we see, it's still quite dark to where the falls actually fall. I'm just going to bring that across. Yeah, like that. Doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to play with it more as we go. Okay, and I think I will actually bring in around where I want this darkness to kind of sit, because this is all pretty much black on this side too. So I am going to bring a curve. And I'm not going to worry too much because this curve is right at the front of the painting. And if you've painted with me before, we do everything in the background first and then we do the front afterwards. So very likely I'm going to have to come back and touch up some of these lines here once we put in all the actual movement and color that's happening, the mist and everything. But for now, we know this corner will be dark. There we go. It kind of goes all the way up, doesn't it? So let's start putting that in like this too. Vibe, the feel of it. Hi, Deb. Hey, Kathy. I'm so glad you stopped in. Hi, Kathy. Oh, no worries. I hope you get a chance to try this out too. I think this is going to turn out so, so pretty. I really enjoyed doing the other one we did of Niagara Falls. It was so beautiful. So I've been really excited to paint this one. So yeah, so that's what I've done so far with the black. Now, when you rinse out your black, whatever water container, I usually have two water containers, especially when I'm using black, that water is going to be pretty much done. So you either need to rinse it out and then just like get some fresh water, because it's always going to leave a gray stain of water every time you go back in and try to reuse it. Black is super powerful. Okay. That's what we got so far. I do have to blow my nails, so I apologize for that. But that's what happens. Okay. Exciting. Okay, so this is all quite wet still. So I think what I'm going to do is I want to start playing with some of the colors while the rest of that dries, because why not? So let's grab red. If you have orange, you can feel free to use a pre-mixed orange too, or you can just jump right into your yellow. I'm going to put a little bit of my pre-mixed just in case. I may or may not use it. My yellow, my white, a little bit of that. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay. I do kind of, like, there's like a smidgen of a green kind of vibe. I'm going to put a little dot of blue. I might want to make some green too. Okay, what are we going to do here? So, let's play a little bit. I'm going to grab my red. Okay, and I'm going to start to pop it in here. Ooh, there's black still, because the black is still wet. That's not what I want. Try not to do that. That's not a big deal. We will make it work. It's all good. My red is very thin. My goodness. Let's put some orange. Okay, and let's just start pulling the colors in the area that we want them to be without trying to grab any of that wet. If you still have wet like I do, try not to grab that too much. And I'm going to mess up the line a little bit, but that's okay. You can always fix it up afterwards. It's not a big deal. Let's go into yellow. Some white. I have to clean off my brush a little bit. This is where it's going to get messy because that line's not exactly where we want it to be yet. Okay. Okay, and then we want to start to play with it's like mistiness that's happening. I'm go away from the lines going down. I'm going to kind of start making them I need to bring black in again. Black. Some shadows happening. Let's play with it. trying to get some coverage going on, and then I'm going to play more of it with the texture of it to really get more of a smoky vibe. But for right now, I just want to get the coverage, kind of start getting the vibe of what we want to create with this. Okay. So we have colors. I don't have as much purple as I wanted to go. I kind of forgot all about my blue. I think that will make it look a little bit nicer, that kind of color tone in here. Hi, Valerie. Thank you. Definitely not exactly what I want to go for, but there's paint on the canvas and I will touch it up as we go on. That's what I always keep reminding myself, like there's paint on the canvas and then you build from there. Just like when you're writing, sometimes it's hard to start writing. So sometimes I just need to get something on there and then I can play with it further and build from it further. So it's not exactly the way I want it yet. All right, we need to play with that more. Okay, I need let's grab that. Oh, no. More white, I think. Okay, let's play with that a bit more. Okay. I'm just using my bigger brush now just to kind of flatten this up a little bit. This is a little too crazy pants without the colors I used. And I'm just going to try to soften it a bit with the bigger brush. Get more of a misty look as opposed to, it's too fragmented. And I'm using purple, so you can mix your red and your blue together. Okay, there we go. A bit lighter up here. Still very gray. It goes a little bit lighter. I'm going to jump back and just put the lights in on my city in the background. Okay, so we have like little lights happening all along that. I get a feeling of there being there's a little space between them, but overall they're all kind of nice aligned. Some are a little bigger than others. And a little bit more in there. And then, okay. everything's still wet, so I'm just going over with my big brush to kind of give it more of a misty texture with it. I'm just trying to add a little bit of color, like a little bit lighter color happening in certain spots. I don't want to mess it up though. It's alright. I just need to fix this, so I'm a little crazy. And fix this line here and here. Okay. Mine definitely has more of a gray kind of vibe versus that purpley color. So that's what I have so far. There we go. There we go. So yes, I feel like I'm going to stop this one for now for a couple of reasons. My head's definitely feeling a little bit more wonky, so I think this is as far as my cold is going to let me continue. I would say there's still more work to do. I still would want to make this less gray and a bit more of like a have the red and some of like other colors, because right now I just feel like it's a bit smoky and that's not exactly what I wanted to go for. But for now I'm going to leave it. So I apologize to everyone for cutting it short and not to continue to make it as a bit more smoky and bright and colorful as I would have wanted to. But I hope you still enjoyed and you still had some fun painting this along with me tonight. And I will see you all later. Have a fantastic rest of your night. I'll talk to you later. Bye everyone.